Well, I like watching corn.
He likes watching it get shucked.
Hashtag corn
Corn
shuckers.
shuckers.
Well, them damn corn shuckers. They at it again.
Corn shuckers.
Now they're shucking in the fields.
Oh my god.
Eat the whole bag at once.
Yeah,
Daddy.
you gotta press the bottom of the bag and then jam it down your throat. So you're like kind of.
I'm transforming too.
Transforming and rolling out.
Chocolate chibi.
Dasani, they all kind of sound very
Oh my
similar.
God.
So, you know.
That was
It works.
that's a big reach.
Nico Dasani.
Nico Dasani.
Legends of the Hidden Temple. Silver Monkey.
Alright.
Burger.
Oh.
Take burger.
I'm gonna put cheese on it.
Take.
I'm putting cheese on it.
Doesn't
Ain't
need
that
the
the
cheese.
It does need cheese.
Burger.
Take me started, please.
How's everybody doing tonight?
And Gamers Podcast. It's Sunday, and we are here, present and accounted for, along with two special guests. Myself, Servo, you already know. We have the direct edition
Hey,
Lat Chocolate Chibi D Freezy, among other names he goes by. We have the wonderful Moose who's running the show tonight. Thank you, Moose.
Absolutely. Don't expect any miracles.
I mean,
Woo!
you're already performing well as it is.
Woo!
Of course, we have Chibi _ Serenade with us. How's it going, Chibi?
Gotta remember that underscore. It's
Yeah, always very important. And of course, our special guest joining us today, we have Dylan and Andrew from. I'll let you go ahead and introduce it for us. The what podcast?
Yeah, we're from Level Playing Field. So Level Playing Field Gaming on YouTube and social media. And then the podcast is just Level Playing Field. I'm Andrew. Dylan.
I'm Dylan. Yeah. Hey.
And thank you for joining us tonight. We have episode 32. We're serving it up to you, and it is called Be Our Guest, of course, because we have two special guests. So one thing we like to do to start off the stream, guys, just to clue you in on what's about to happen, is we like to go into a couple free open topics, such as what games we've been playing, things like that. And then we're going to dive into our regular topic list. So I'll start. I took a nosedive into the world of VR this week, and I've almost exclusively, other than a little grind in World of Warcraft and Call of Duty, been playing Season 5 of Call of Duty a little bit. I've been almost exclusively playing VR chat and trying to educate myself a little bit on how to make avatars, because I think that's going to be my new endeavor. It's a lot of fun, and I met a lot of cool people. So have you guys done any VR stuff at all?
I have. Servo, what headset did you have? Did you?
I do not have a
already
headset
one?
yet. I'm
Oh.
just playing on the computer.
Oh, okay.
But already I'm shopping. I'm already shopping for one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, if
yeah.
you guys don't remember, I went through a whole ordeal with trying to get the Oculus Quest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the set that I have. I have not downloaded VR chat just yet. My oldest keeps trying to get me to download it.
Mm-hmm.
He just asked me the other day. He's 14. He just asked me the other day. He's like, "Dad, can we get VR chat?" Because my nephew has it, who's a year younger than him. And I'm like, no, that's not. That's not an app for you.
It's basically just like all no holds barred like chat room where just anybody and everybody walks in.
I've seen the craziest videos of VR chat. Like, my lord, it
Oh, yeah.
terrifies me, but I'm thoroughly intrigued.
Now, I mean, what you look at in videos like that, and I'll admit, it's not as bad. At least my experience, it hasn't been that crazy, but the potential is always there. Most of the people I've met are pretty cool. You know, anytime there's like somebody who's, you know, using some sort of language that I don't like or something, I just go to a different world.
Okay.
So it's really not that bad. and if you can, kind of check yourself, you'll find actually it's kind of cool. And there's a lot of people that I know that use it, and they've been able to kind of like show me the ropes a little bit. I've been meeting people who are like, again, creating avatars and things like that. So that's where my interest has been piqued by it.
See, now, I got to try before I buy. I got to be the responsible parent, and I got to be like, well, I'm downloading this to see if it's okay for my son. You know?
Yeah.
Pro tip: it's not.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.
No.
It's like, for example, there's one thing that actually really annoyed me about it, and I didn't actually have this happen until last night. But there was someone in the chat, and you can, by the way, you can just mute anybody, and you
Uh-huh.
can make it so that you can't see their avatars. So you can make it so you pick and choose who you see and who you don't. But I am pretty open, and I'm not very easily offended, so I have everything turned on. So sometimes you'll have people who have effects, and they'll like literally crash your computer because it's like just so much going on, all the particles and shit. And then there's one guy last night in particular who a big fan of the N word, and you could tell he was maybe 8, 12,
Sounds
somewhere
about right.
very young.
Oh, that poor.
And
person.
so of course
So
there's a
emotional.
vote to kick button to kick him out. And it took about an hour to get everybody to actually vote, and because most people just had blocked him. So it's kind of one of those where, again, it's like walking outside in the internet world, and just anybody and everybody is anonymous. So they're just
Right.
It's
you
like
gotta
the
know
internet
how
wild,
hard
wild west.
anything
That's why it's
goes.
fun.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta ask those kids, hey, what are you doing outside of a Call of Duty lobby?
Get out of
Exactly.
here.
Go back to Fortnite.
Right?
But other than that, I got to be honest, it's a blast, and I've only had very few bad experiences inside of the game. So I'm excited to get a VR headset and go, beyond and do some more stuff other than just chatting with people.
Awesome.
What about you guys?
I grab it next. I did a little more Ghost of Tsushima.
Nice.
I'm still
Hell
trying to
yeah.
finish that up. I think either by this week, going into the weekend, I should be completing that. We did a little Grounded from Obsidian. We did on Wednesday. We tried actually 2 games. We did a little what was the first one?
Areola tournament. Oh yeah.
Aeolus tournament is what
Not
it was called.
Areola tournament.
Not Areola.
I think we just got into the habit of calling it so much. That's what I'm acknowledging it as. Henceforth.
Good
It
lord.
was Aeolus tournament, which it was fun. It had the potential to be fun, but there was too many issues. We got kicked a couple times. We didn't really get a stable game, but the potential was there. I mean, while we were in the game, we had a blast. But like they got a little bit of work to do. So, and then finally we had well, not finally actually, we did Fall Guys. Which strangely enough had server issues. But we were able to get in there, and once we got in there, it was a phenomenal time.
Oh my god, yes. Hell yeah.
And lastly, I had a pretty busy week. Gosh. And lastly, I did the Avengers beta, Marvel Avengers beta this weekend.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Blade was playing that today too. He was telling me all about it.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. That's exciting.
Super excited about that.
How was it?
It's a bit to get used to. They kind of throw you in there with the demo, and I think they're
That's what he
gonna do
was
the same
saying.
thing with the game. And they really meant what they were saying when they said each character has their different own playing style,
Right.
and it gets kind of confusing because you start off as uh, Hulk, and then you switch to Iron Man, then you switch to Thor, then you switch to Black Widow, and they all are very different. And I found myself at one point, I played with Hulk for a period of time, and then the game switched me to Miss Marvel, and
Okay.
I was still playing like I was playing the Hulk, which was ended up me getting my ass whooped a couple of times. So I had to like a type of mental trigger like this is not hope. I can't just run through and barrel through all of the enemies. I have to find a different approach. But
Yeah.
oh, I'm in love with it. I love it. Oh my god. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, Blade stopped playing because he was not wanting, because a lot of those betas, the information and how far you get doesn't transfer if you
Uh-huh.
actually get the game when it gets released. He's like, I
Yeah.
don't want to get really far in this and then have to do this all over again. He's like, I like it,
Mhm.
but I don't want to keep playing because I don't want to play the same thing twice. Like,
Mm.
no.
Yep.
But he said
Didn't
it was
like it
pretty
that
good.
much.
He liked it, but it was definitely just like kind of like what you said, it was just getting used to it,
Yeah.
because they don't really explain a whole lot at first on how to do like
Mm-hmm.
different power-ups and stuff, and you have to kind of figure stuff out. But he liked it. He said it was good. I asked him, I'm like, would you actually pay for it? Like, did you like it enough to pay for it? And he said, yeah. So
Yeah. Mine's already
Okay.
paid for. I checked my account. It's already paid for. Yeah.
Excellent.
So I guess I'll jump next. Wait, oh, Blade coming in the chat. Oh no, he loved it. Okay, yeah, Blade loved it. He really just decided he should do adult things. Adult things. Who needs adult things? But
Not me.
yeah, so I started playing for the second, third, fourth time, whatever time, BioShock 2 for my stream. I've already
Yay.
played through all of them, but I'm replaying it for the collection for PS4. Had a bit of a difficulty at first because apparently the collection for the PlayStation, that the remastered one that they did, apparently the first game and the second game, they fuse like the save files. So if you have like 5, 6, 7 save files when you played through the first game, if you try to play the second game, if you have too many save files, it'll say there's not enough room, so you have to go in and delete them. It's very strange. Had no idea that was a thing, so it delayed my stream a bit because I had no idea what the
Weird.
hell it was talking about. It was so
Yeah.
weird because it's all on one disc, so I guess they're not separating the save file whatevers. I don't know, but I
Still,
fixed
but
it.
that's crazy. Like the Uncharted games, they were all when they did the remaster of them. I don't think they
Yeah,
had that problem either. I mean, they're all
I
like
don't
the
know.
separate game.
It was so weird, but hopefully Infinite's not that way because it's on its own disc, so hopefully I shouldn't have that issue. But
Wonder,
my goal is to get through that by the end of this month because I want to play a couple small games in August. Other than playing my Love Life stuff on my mobile phone, the stupid gacha games, I swear to God, it's a curse. I'm hoping because everyone's playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I'd love to play it, but I kind of want to hold off a little bit and maybe play some other things, and I'll play that next. But I don't know. Blade wanted me to do the beta for the Marvel game, but I was just too busy this weekend, so I didn't get to. And there was another game that I was gonna play next month, and now I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it's just been BioShock 2 for right now, and maybe something else if I feel like it. We'll see.
Well, don't give up on the beta yet, Chibi. They're gonna be testing it for
I
the
thought it was
rest of
just
this
this
month.
weekend.
No,
no,
that was
it
just on
staggers.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause you
based
said that
on
there was like
pre-orders and stuff.
Yeah, there was like see, Blade sent me like a timetable thing, and I didn't look at it, so more than
In
likely,
like 3
that's
weeks,
probably
I
what
think
that says.
everybody can play it. Right now, it's like pre-order PlayStation, then it'll be pre-order Xbox, and then
Yeah.
after that, it's like everybody PlayStation. Then after that, it's everybody Xbox, and then it's like everybody.
Right.
So in like
Everybody,
3 weeks or a
everybody,
month, you should be able to play it if you don't want to pay any money right now.
There you go.
That'll be
Yeah,
me.
so I just gotta wait a month. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm right there with you.
Excellent.
Yes, I know Rapture Blade. I know.
Go for it.
Guess I'll pick up the torch. All right, so we had so like Lat was saying, we hit up Grounded. Got absolutely terrified. Finally got up the gumption to turn off arachnophobia mode. That was a gigantic mistake. Yes, I was able to see the hitboxes better. Yes, I was also to see my fears way more clearly. And the arachnophobia mode went shortly on again thereafter, turning them back into jelly beans. I didn't need the hitboxes that
Jelly
badly.
beans.
And then Aeolus tournament, you following up, on that. We did crack into that a little bit. Yeah, solid. It's Mario Party with suck and blow mechanics. The netcode has a lot to be desired. But then Fall Guys, yo. Fall Guys.
I've heard nothing but good things about fucking Fall Guys.
And they're all
Everyone's
true.
talking about that on my social media feed.
And they are all true.
Like, good lord.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people.
They are the epitome of Rick Ross's suffering from success, though. Like they are hitting crazy numbers on their servers, and that's the biggest problem they have right now. It's just their servers can't handle how popular they are for a small studio game, and people are furious about that. And it's like, look, there's smaller division here. They released a game. They didn't know 1.5 million people were going to flood the friggin' servers. They did not.
Well, they gave it away for free on PlayStation, so they should have thought that they were going to get a bunch.
Yeah, they kind of dug their own grave on that one.
Yeah,
they did give it, and I think it's coming to Game Pass, if not this month and next month also.
Yeah.
So if they're last thing we checked, we did check Friday because we had a bit of trouble getting to the game. And they were saying they were working on their servers for this weekend. I looked at Twitch and they were number 3 on the most streamed game. So
and I had friends who hadn't been streaming in months all of a sudden just popped on to play fucking Fall Guys. So I'm guessing it must be that good.
Yeah.
It's the embodiment.
It's absolute blast.
Oh yeah, it's the embodiment of all those like Nickelodeon game shows, us older folks grew up with. Like, it just all rolled into one with a little bit of like MXC and stuff like that, all those shows. And it's an absolute blast. Hit top 6 my first game in, baby. Hell yeah.
Nice.
That's what's up. I got robbed right at the end there, though. Sad about that. But and then outside of that, it's the usual deck builders for me, and whenever I have time. Neoverse, by the way, being the current absolute addiction. If you like deck builders, card, CCGs at all, Neoverse. Top notch shit. I love that game. But yeah, that's it pretty much. So how about Andrew? How about you?
For me, I just wrapped up Final Fantasy VII Remake earlier, and that I was kind of down on it up and towards the end, and then the ending kind of blew my mind. So that's definitely one that I'd recommend. I had no previous knowledge really of the original outside of just the famous characters and spoilers and stuff like that everybody knows.
Yeah.
So then going into this one, I thought it would be a good way to experience that original story in like a modern sense, and it's not. It's a lot more than that. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but definitely it's definitely worth playing through to the end. It's one of those games where the ending makes it. So
it's not
then
even
after
done
that,
yet either.
No, it's not. But it's also
I know.
it's what are they going to do next? Who knows? And when?
Yeah, maybe we'll find out in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, when is the problem?
Right.
And how many parts is it going to be? Like how many? But then I started Ghost of Tsushima finally, and that game is perfect. That is my game right now. Like that's everything. It's like it took all the things I like from other games, like The Witcher and Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider and everything, and just wrapped it up in this super badass Japanese setting. And I can't put it down. I'm like addicted to it right now, and I haven't felt that way about a game in a long time. It's just hitting like all the right boxes for me. So that's pretty much all I've been playing.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing from everybody that I know that has it.
The last game I was addicted to like that was Marvel's Spider-Man.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was fantastic.
I knew it. Everyone said good things about. I need to play that, like for real.
Ghost is just so good because the exploration is great and the island is great and all that is the kind of stuff that The Witcher gave you, or maybe the newer Assassin's Creeds. And I think the newer Assassin's Creeds have pretty fun combat, but I'm really loving the combat in Ghost of Tsushima. Like there's enough depth to it and enough challenge that it's really fun and makes me want to keep trying different things versus just, spamming, square or whatever.
Right.
But it's also not like Sekiro hard. So it's not like painfully frustrating either. It's kind of that nice balance of enough challenge to make it interesting, but also easy enough to get on a roll where you feel awesome when you start just hacking all this stuff down. Kind of like the Shadow of War games when you first start playing those and you just like get wrecked all the time. But then once you start figuring out what you're doing and putting stuff in, like buying certain skills and stuff, by the end of that game, you can just walk into like the biggest fort on the map and just destroy anything that comes your way. I get that same feeling from Ghost of Tsushima, and it's amazing.
Nice.
See, now I gotta ask though, what did you name your horse? Which
That's
name did you choose?
Can I guess? Can I guess?
You can guess, yeah.
Kage.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling to like keep all the Japanese names and words straight. So I picked the black horse, and then I think you're right. I think that's what I named it.
I'm
Okay.
like I'm 4 for 4. Like everyone that I've talked to that has played Ghost of Tsushima has named their horse Kage, and I've talked to
See,
4
I
other
already
players.
know which one I'm gonna pick. Like Blade already told me the names, and I'm like, I already know which one I'm gonna pick. I haven't
What
even
did that
played it.
name? What was like what did that represent? Like, what was the translation of
It
it?
means shadow,
Okay, yeah,
but
that's
but I picked it because I'm a Naruto fan.
Of course you are.
Yes, I am.
I knew you
You're
would.
goddamn right,
Yeah.
I'm a Naruto fan. So and that's all of the Kages, the 5 Kages, the Hokage, the Raikage, the Tsuchikage, the Mizukage. So I was just like, of course, Kage. I'm naming my horse Kage.
I picked
So
it because I picked the
Okay.
black horse, and so it was like Shadow just makes sense. If I had picked
Right.
the white horse, because I was torn between the black and the white, and then I ended up going with the black, kind of like because I like to play stealth when games give me the chance. So just the
yeah,
whole kind of stealth imagery, the dark horse, the shadows, all that kind of stuff. And then of course it being named Shadows, like yeah, that just makes sense. If it had been a different horse, I might have picked something different, but who knows? I have a feeling I'll replay this game, so I'll probably do something different next time.
There you go. And Dylan?
Yeah. See, ironically, I'm stuck between Nobu or Sora. That's it.
Sky.
I think remember the name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I like Sora for other reasons, but you know, Jono would know. Like
So-
Kingdom Hearts life.
For me, I have like video game ADHD, so I've been bouncing around a ton of different games. So I've been pretty consistent logging into WoW and just doing some random things, dailies, that sort of thing. Trying to, like, now with all the Shadowlands stuff coming out, I'm trying to decide, like, with the way that they're revamping the leveling system, like which of my characters is worth bothering to level and which is I'm just going to leave until they revamp it, and it only takes like 3 hours to get there. So trying to figure that out. I've been playing Diablo 3, trying to complete the season. I've got like 2 objectives left on it. That's mostly just grind at this point. But that's been pretty fun. I picked it up on the Switch recently. Because like I think it's the game that I've purchased the most amount of times across a ton of systems. I think I've bought it on PC back in the day, and then Xbox 360, and then Xbox One, and then now Switch. So, but it's been pretty fun so far. And it's a great like Switch game because it's easy to like take on the go, and if you only have like 5 minutes, you can run through something real quick. If you have longer, you can do some of the longer things that they have for you to do. So that's been good. I've been playing some MTG Arena a little bit. They just banned all of my decks, so I've mostly just been playing.
Is that a
The,
good ban or well?
I mean, it
don't
was a
know if
good
it's a
ban.
good
It was
ban. I mean,
it was
Yeah.
needed. I had become what I had hated. So,
As
just
many
out of
MTG
necessity.
players do.
Yes.
You lose
so-
enough times and you're like, you know what? Can't beat
Yeah.
them, join
I
them.
am the
Yeah,
meta.
I had splashed blue. I had Teferi in every deck, and I was like, "Thank you for banning him, so that I can
Mhm.
finally stop playing him." But I've been playing the new. They just put the new like jumpstart thing on there,
Yeah.
which is like you get 2 like random decks and you mash them together and you play with them, and so that's been really fun. I kind of don't want to go back to like playing standard or historic or anything. I want to just kind of play Jumpstart for the rest of it. So that's been cool.
Yeah.
And I've been playing RimWorld. Got back into RimWorld a little bit.
RimWorld I haven't played, but it's funny talking about the Jumpstart mode. That's one thing that, like, when they released it, I was like, man, this is something that I've always been wanting to do, like in real life, but it's hard to do that because you basically have to keep track of like the deck list every time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you ever played Smash Up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like I always wanted to do that, but with Magic cards.
Yeah.
And unless you keep a list of all the decks to put them back together after you're done, it can be a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, because like it really works well as like a digital format. I think it would be fun to play like just in a game store somewhere once all of this is over and game stores open back up. But like for the time being, I think it's translated very well into the online MTG Arena mode. So
it's definitely one that works well digitally. Basically only kind of like a Momir Vig. Momir Vig only works well when you have the digital set of every card to choose from.
Exactly.
Cool.
Now RimWorld is one I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. So props.
Yeah, I was craving a game like Majesty, and RimWorld scratches that same kind of itch.
You had to bring it up.
Well, yeah, we are the number one
mention Majesty
podcast, so
we mention it like every other episode.
That or Monster Hunter, man, I gotta mention those too contractually.
Right.
So.
Yeah, my experience with RimWorld was pretty much, start up around. Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Things are going well. Hey, these couple people are mad at everyone. Now they're murdering everyone. Cool. That was a fun game. I'll try again in a week.
Pretty much. Like, yeah, it gets pretty crazy. I'm kicking it around because I want to do, like, I've got an XCOM series kind of in the works for our YouTube channel where I've created like all of the hosts in the game and playing through that until we all die. And so I'm kicking around doing something like that in RimWorld because you can download some mods and put people in the game, and that would be a lot shorter of a series because I am way less good at RimWorld. So that's like 30 minutes. So
is that even a series?
That's
just a video.
Maybe slowly.
Dylan, how many characters you have in WoW?
Oh boy.
I've got 3 at max level right now. I've got a hunter, a priest, and a druid at max level. I'm working on a death knight and a demon hunter. I think they're close enough to justify the run to max level at this point. And then everything else, like I've got characters, but I haven't bothered leveling them. And at this point, I'm not gonna until after Shadowlands comes out. So
Dylan, you and I will have to get again together after this to nerd out on World of Warcraft because I'm sure you're not aware, but on my channel, I've been working on a max level every class challenge, and I've got right now 4. I just completed Paladin. I've got Death Knight, Druid, and Warrior that are all max level.
Nice.
And I'm working on getting all the other ones up there. I'm just over 80% of the way there. So most of them are 100 plus.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple that are like, I think I've got a 50 and a 30. Sure, my shaman, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's been rough because I'm also trying to do rep quests because I'm trying to unlock Voldenai and I'm doing all the other shit.
Yeah. There's a lot to juggle in there.
It's too much. I could go on.
Servos are resident Warcraft.
Oh yeah.
So enthusiasts. So
very much so.
Sazzle was dragging me into it, and I'm like, all right, fine. And I get the scratch together. I stopped at Cataclysm, and like I played from day one vanilla to Cataclysm, like religiously. And then I just like I burned out hard. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was doing the like 40-hour-a-week progression, like
Yeah.
trying
Yeah,
to
that's a
be
lot.
the top guild and everything like that. So that was a full-time job in college, basically.
Mhm.
Was go to class, work on progression, 8 hours a
Uh-huh.
night, 5 nights a week.
Oh man.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So that contributed to the burnout. But next expansion, you might see some moose up in there.
Oh yeah.
Dylan's
back
only
to-
second place in our group as far as WoW nerds go. He's our buddy Joe, who's on the podcast, he's the religious player, like has
Yeah.
been playing, will keep playing. Dylan just hopped back in relatively recently, but
Mhm.
Oh, good.
Joe's been going strong through it all.
Yeah,
That's
he's been
awesome.
playing. He picked it up, and like we all played Burning Crusade, Lich King, and a little bit into Cataclysm, and then he picked it up from like Cataclysm and has pretty much been playing it ever since. I think he's taken a few short breaks, but
Yeah.
I did
I'm the
something
one.
similar
Yeah.
where I started with vanilla all the way to Wrath. Took a break when my account got hacked, and then when Warlords of Draenor came out, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna start over.
Yeah.
And then I've just been going on since then. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've gotten some other people like Moose was talking about involved in it. Jack, who was in the chat earlier, he and I started a series where every Monday we play a little bit. He had never played it before until Battle for Azeroth, and I actually a year's worth of Mondays, and we got to level 120 just a couple weeks ago together.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a
Never
blast.
played. My boyfriend plays, or hasn't played in a long time, but he was pretty religious. But I haven't played it. I'm sure one day he'll kind of
Me
convince
either.
me to play it.
I've
Maybe.
never played
I don't
it.
know.
I know I
I
don't
don't
have
wanna get
time to play it.
engulfed.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, I
haven't.
was like, I don't have the time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At this
I
point,
haven't
I
done
wouldn't. I wouldn't play it until the expansion comes out. I think
Yeah.
that'll be
Yeah.
when it's worth jumping in as someone who's never played or wants to get back
Absolutely.
in.
Yeah.
So,
Or
I
like
even
love
I,
the lore.
just
like,
to try
Yeah.
it. I
he
mean,
got
you
me
could try
really
it for
into the
free.
lore
That's
of it.
one thing that's a big
but-
draw on it.
yeah, like I only jump back in now because I jump in at the beginning of every expansion, get to max level, and then burn out after like a week or two.
Yep. Yep.
And then stop subscribing. So
Yeah, very common. Well, speaking of subscription services that a lot of people with World of Warcraft don't want to continue to pay for when they're not playing with it, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the first topic here, and that is that Microsoft has announced that it's going to launch a brand new streaming service, which they are calling Project xCloud service. September 15th, which is 5 days after my birthday. September 15th,
Project
which is
xCloud.
5 days after my ways to spend your stimulus check.
Happy
Thank you. And it's supposedly it's going to be bundled with part of the Game Pass Ultimate. Who here has the Game Pass? Is anybody here other than myself?
I
Okay,
would you
so-
have it if you have an Xbox or a
Yeah.
PC. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, right now the amount of free games on it, like they just added
Yeah.
Grounded,
It's
and some other games that are coming out. Though I think we just talked about. Forgive me. What was the game? The other game that we were saying they're going to add to Game Pass. Fall Guys.
Oh,
Right.
Add
yeah.
Fall Guys to it. So I mean, yeah, it's almost like a no-brainer to have that.
it's the best deal in gaming right now, if you ask me.
yeah,
I mean, the amount of value you get with Game Pass is ridiculous. You get all of Xbox first-party games day one. Gears 5, Halo Infinite, day one. You could play that game for what, $10-15 a month, as opposed to paying $60 for them. So, and then you can just dabble in all the other stuff if you're like, oh, I've heard of this, let me try it. I wouldn't try it if it was $60, but since I'm already subscribed,
Right.
yeah.
go ahead and give it a shot.
Yep. And it's just like, oh, just download that. Oh, I don't like it. Uninstall it. Next
Yeah,
week,
exactly.
you know?
There's-
And I do that a lot.
Yep.
I just recently got Game Pass actually because we were gonna try out Grounded, and I bought it for that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it had so many other games because I've just been subscribed to Xbox Live Gold and playing Sea of Thieves every now and again. But other than that, I haven't really been back on my Xbox, especially with everything that's been dropping on the PlayStation. So,
Right.
but yeah, Grounded is a lot of fun. It got me to go through a massive amount of updates that my Xbox needed.
That's always
So
fun. Yeah.
yeah. So
Crazy thing
yeah.
about xCloud though is, well, for one thing, it's been in beta for a while, especially
Mhm.
on Android devices. I was in the like alpha because it never really made it to beta on iOS,
Mhm.
where you could basically just play Halo. You could
Yeah.
play
That's
the
all you
Master
need.
Chief Collection. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about this story, about the fact that it's coming out in full launch, is that Apple basically told Microsoft to go fuck off.
Yep.
Mhm.
See,
And
the funny thing though is they don't specify what policies are actually preventing them from doing
Mhm.
anything. They're
Yeah.
just saying that happened, but they're not
from
specifying.
just from what I saw, it was like because each game is like its own app or something.
Yeah.
Like there's some sort of loophole where and it's garbage and it's like anti-consumer, and maybe they'll settle it and figure it all out. But right now it sucks for Microsoft because that's a
Mhm.
huge like potential player base right there
Yeah.
that have Apple devices. Like being able to play these games on your iPad with whatever controller you can pair with it,
Mhm.
that'd be awesome. But now it's just the other half of people who own devices, the Android people, which I mean, it's great that it's going to that, and it's a lot more fully developed for those devices right now because, like I said, it never even came to full beta in iOS. Like it
Mhm.
never got past the Master Chief Collection stage, at least as far as I saw, and then they just pulled the apps and were like, nah, it's over.
I think like with Apple products, I mean, being an Apple user myself, I mean, I'm not pro or I'm not a big old Apple fanboy, but
No, I have an iPhone.
from my understanding, like a lot of people, the minute I say I have an Apple, they're like, "Oh, you're obsessed." Like, no, 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 no. Like, I just have it because I have it. I just
Mhm.
don't need anything fancy. But I think a lot of issues with getting stuff like that on Apple devices is because, like you said, they're very stringent about their apps and the games that go through their services because their system is very different from Android and other
Mhm.
devices because they're kind of like Wild Wild West. Anyone can upload an app, anyone can do
Right.
whatever, and there's
Yeah.
really no filter system. And Apple's very against that. They don't want these rando things going through that could have
Mhm.
possibly, whatever's attached to them. They don't know. They're very particular, and I don't know why they're doing that. I guess about xCloud. Maybe they're just waiting until it
Yeah.
gets out of a beta.
Well, it is
They
I-
coming
get
out of
more
beta. It's coming
information.
out in September, and they're
Yeah,
telling
well, I'm
them
like,
flat
maybe
out,
they're
you don't get
waiting.
it. It's
Yeah,
not
maybe
coming
they're
to our
waiting to
devices
see
in
how well
September.
it does. I don't know,
I
but I
think
mean,
yeah,
if they
I
don't want to
assume
do
it's
it,
a
they don't got to
money.
do it.
it's money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
they're saying all the stuff
They're
that you
waiting
just
for a
brought
cut.
up. That's their publicity thing of like, we don't want these apps, we want control, yada yada yada. But the main thing is Apple, how many months ago launched their own gaming service
Mhm.
for their
Yeah.
games? I don't remember what it's called, but really
The
xCloud
Game
is
Center, but they've had that a while.
No,
Yeah,
not the Game
Apple
Center.
Arcade.
Apple Arcade.
Oh, the Apple
Yeah.
Arcade, yeah.
It's
It was
like
like $5 a
$1
month,
a month, $5 a month, something
and you
like
could
that.
but
Something like that.
ultimately xCloud is competition if you
Mm.
boil it down. And
Yeah.
so until they strike some sort of deal where they're both happy, I think that's probably what's holding things up. And what sucks is that Apple waited this long to flat out just, draw the line in the sand and be like, it's not happening, after Microsoft is like, guess what? September, it's coming out. This is it.
Yeah.
And they're like,
well,
no, only for half of you guys out there.
Microsoft
Yeah.
could always pull like an Epic Games and just be like, it's not us, it's Apple. Like, talk to them, complain to them, like they did.
I mean, it's kind
like
of
Epic
what they're
did
doing.
with like
Yeah.
PS4. Like,
There's a petition
Yeah,
out
and then-
there. Or maybe more than one, but it's like there's a
Mhm.
petition to make Apple budge essentially because they're being anti-consumer about this. But
Yeah, and I mean, just to
Anti-consumer?
note,
Yeah,
it's
no, right?
definitely not just xCloud. Just for note on there,
Yeah.
Google
Not only
Stadia
that,
services
they're
are also
also-
not
oh.
on
Yeah.
iPhones or iPad products.
what was
So, I
that?
mean,
What did you just say? Google Stadia? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Stadia.
Yeah,
Yes,
that thing is.
yeah, I've got one.
or Stadia.
Yeah,
But,
I got one too.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, clearly they just want to focus on their gaming service, but I need to actually do some research because I really don't know how large of a base that they have. Like maybe they're
Mhm.
just not wanting to have a large gaming focus. I don't know, because I don't really play games on
Who,
my
Apple?
Apple. Like
I think
I don't use it for that.
I think it's
like,
the opposite. I
know.
think they're trying to push into it because you can play like you think, okay, Apple Arcade, you've got the benefit of it is it's cheap and you get all these games that like aren't trying to nickel and dime you constantly. Like you pay one flat
all the free to
fee.
play.
Yeah, and it's all these games that theoretically are complete. They're not going to make you watch an ad, all this kind of stuff. But you can also pair a controller and play these games on your Apple TV if you wanted to. Not many people do, but then they're also kind of a console. None of these games are like console level yet, but it's like they're kind of working that way to see, who's interested. Is this making us money? Do we want to keep going forward here? And if we do, we don't want Microsoft on our devices taking that away from us, taking that market share on our own devices. So let's just cut them out of the picture where we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think they're trying to kind of see how it goes, and they really don't
testing
want to
the water.
dive into it. I mean, but I guess it's in a business sense. I can't blame them. I mean,
No.
Is it a good practice? Probably not. No.
No, it makes them look terrible, but for the bottom line, I'm sure
I get
it's
it.
good.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I guess like I said, I really need to see their numbers to see who actually is using an Apple device for actual gaming purposes. Because if they are, then I'd be shocked. But I just don't think that many. I think there's more who are actually going to use the the Project X, the xCloud.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like
has anybody in here
smart to
used
keep it
Apple
separate.
Arcade?
No.
I had
don't
a
have
free
an
month
iPhone.
of it.
And
No,
we're
all my
gamers.
games are not needing that.
So it's like if we aren't,
yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
I mean, if we aren't, then I guess there are some casual people that just like maybe play real simple, like all they play are games on their phone that might try it out. Right. But if you're trying to market to gamers, and there's 6 gamers in here, and none of us have even messed with it,
right?
I mean,
and that's where I don't think they're too serious. I think they want to put that out there just in case there are those who are casual interested, but I don't think that's their focus. I don't use any of my Mac products for gaming. That's just not what I buy them for. I don't buy them for that. So I think they're wanting to be in the market, but they're not wanting to be like a front runner in the market. So they're probably just like, no, we don't want to deal with that. No, we're good. Unless you want to do it our way, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, and I kind of see it going the way of the Stadia. I mean, it's like like you said, we're all gamers here, and who wants to play games on their phone that you can also have on your PC or your console already? So it's kind of I think they're going to put a couple games on it, test the water, and then it's going to sit there until they decide to pull it. I think we mentioned before, like the main problem with the Stadia is all of the games you can get on there are already across all other platforms. So until they come up with some major exclusive to draw people to it, then it's not going to be a big competitor.
Yeah, if Stadia was a beta right now, then like if they had just changed their messaging and said, hey, we're launching with these, what was it, 10 games, 15 games when it came out, something like that. And they're like, but this is the beta, just try it out. Kind of like xCloud's been doing. People would not be so hard on Stadia, but because they're like, this is the launch and this is what you get, people are like, I can play that anywhere else and it runs better and I don't have to buy, like I already have Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And so that a lot of that was messaging.
Yeah, because like with xCloud too, it's if you like in theory, everything that you own on your Xbox or Microsoft account, you can play as like on xCloud. Whereas a lot of the other streaming services so far have been like a separate purchase that you have to buy. So I think that'll be a key thing when it actually does launch. So
it's more of an extension of what you already own versus buying something new.
Yeah. Huh. And we'll see what they add when it actually launches, because they're going to be adding stuff to it as soon as it comes out. Microsoft is very consistent.
It's a big deal for them.
Than
I think
100 games.
Yeah.
I mean, right now that's 100, but
I'm pretty sure like Game Pass theoretically should be on it. So like you have xCloud, you have Game Pass, you can just play Game Pass games on it. I think that's the end goal.
There's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So, right now,
see if they stick to that.
Yeah, right now the Xbox Game Pass is like the only thing I subscribe to right now. It's just worth it in value to me. There's a lot of other ones out there like the The Ubisoft one is okay. The Uplay, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right, especially if you like Siege, which is like the main reason
Right.
I had it was
Yeah.
for Siege for a while.
Yeah.
But outside of that, there's a variety of titles and everything like that. I'm usually finding something on there. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let me give that a go. I haven't cleared that
Yeah,
yet. It's
same.
a good title, and so that it's worth it already. So if they just want to put more power into it, shit, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, speaking of gamers in particular, we've got some very enthusiastic gamers in Japan, which it's very interesting that this topic came up, and it kind of went viral with a particular channel that was doing this, and I'm missing the name of the channel. It is called KMZW Isolation, which generally they usually do dance tutorials on the street. Pretty interesting.
Okay.
But in this case, they went ahead and they started filming one of the characters walking around downtown Shibuya like it was a video game, and they called it Grand Theft. What was it? Grand Theft. I read it
Was
earlier.
it
Now
Grand Theft
forgetting.
Tokyo? Or was it-
Gotoku. Grand Theft Gotoku, which is like Yakuza, and apparently it just exploded.
Right.
It immediately reminded me of the Chappelle Show skit, the GTA in real life one that he did.
Yeah.
It immediately resonated with that, so I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, it was
fact
pretty
that he-
impressive. They had like the health bar and the little mini map and everything tracking.
And he even hit
They even
like the-
had.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say he even hit like some of the like more nuanced things. Like he goes up to the dog statue and like pets it and stuff, and then he starts to turn and run, but he hits the prompt and then immediately resets, pets
Yep.
the dog again. I'm like, all right, relatable as fuck. I'm in.
Yes.
It was pretty funny, and it's interesting too because I've seen stuff like this on Twitch before, especially when they came out with Grand Theft Auto in the first person view. There was a couple of Twitch streamers that they had the head cam or like a chest cam, and they did an overlay that was like mimicking something like that, and they would walk around their areas, and oftentimes they were shut down, not like by Twitch, but
Rockstar.
because of the interaction.
Oh.
Like they couldn't go into a place, or they couldn't really do stuff like the game, obviously, because
Yeah.
the police would come up and be like, "Hey, stop filming," and they got stopped. So it's interesting that this one, if you watch the video, it just went so well, and I'm sure there's a lot of planning that went into.
Yeah, 'cause I think there were police in the video when he first started out of the alley. There were police, and right before he came out of the alley and made a left, there were police just standing there, just hanging out, I guess.
Yeah, but much like we were. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, much like we were talking about earlier, the production value and the camera work of that video pretty much made it. Yeah.
I mean,
I would like to see someone even try and do something like that.
I was gonna say, what do you think about an entire game like made in that fashion? How do you think that would go over?
Yeah, I mean, I could see someone making that game, or even the other way, taking different games, not Grand Theft Auto, but like, for example, I don't know, Mario Odyssey, and trying to do like something similar to that. Depend on what setting you were in, but like a Breath of the Wild, you're just like in the woods. Yeah, something like that, and have little special effects, and you could even do a little post production with it, and make it kind of more maybe seem like it's live.
Have you guys seen the videos? I see them on Facebook, and I'm not sure where they come from originally, but it's this guy, and he's just doing stuff around his apartment for the most part. But I think he's got like the makeup and maybe the ears and stuff. But he's like Skyrim, and he's like walking all like super janky and like bumping into stuff, and it's just like Skyrim. And
I want to say it's like
freaking
Zero
hilarious.
Dark or something. I don't remember the name, but
I can't remember his name either.
He's on TikTok as well. He puts those videos. But
I'm sure,
need something?
Yeah. And then he like glitches out
Walks
and doesn't
against the
need
wall.
He
something.
just kind of
Yeah.
walks, starts taking
Yeah.
his chairs with him.
Yeah. There's the whole one where like they
Uh.
steal something and but like then it just like glitches him out and then he's like, oh, need something? Yeah.
Must have been the wind.
Yeah,
Goes back to what he's
exactly.
doing.
Yeah, those are hilarious.
I love that guy. But yeah, that kind of like I mean, and people do it a lot. I'm sure you guys have maybe seen the Red Dead Redemption one where the guy he's like he kills a guy and then there's a guy in the distance who's like, I saw that. I'm gonna go tell the cops, and he runs. He has to go chase him, and they get into that chain of like, okay, like don't tell him, and they're like, okay, well, no, I'm gonna go tell him. And then he finally kills that guy, and there's somebody off in the distance.
Sees him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it! All right, I have to go kill that guy too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love stuff like that. Not surprised at all that this particular video went viral.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing that has been going viral, and I'll kind of combine these two. But the first one is that we had one of the more popular streamers, or rather one of the most popular streamers on Twitch, who then went to Mixer, and then now is back on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And it's Ninja.
and it was funny
Shocking.
because we've said, that Ninja will probably not return to Twitch just because of the way that they handled the
Yeah.
whole ordeal of him leaving and going to Mixer.
Right.
And
And I was very surprised.
Yeah, we figured he'd end up on YouTube or something of that nature, and then lo and behold, he was back on Twitch.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of his viewership back already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They either offered him a good deal or the features he's wanting are there. I don't know.
What kind of numbers does YouTube do compared to Twitch? Like maybe he was on Mixer and was like, being on this lesser platform isn't cutting it. I need to go back to the top one, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
he
from
was
what I
sitting pretty with
understand-
his deal that he got from Mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that money that he was supposedly to receive, thanks, babe, to receive from Mixer, he did receive it.
Mhm.
And so he didn't miss out on anything that they promised him. It's just the fact that Mixer has been shut down now for a couple weeks, and he just wanted to keep streaming. So more than likely, he's just sitting pretty on top of that cash pile that he's got. And in addition to that, now he's streaming on Twitch again. So we probably see a lot less of him, I imagine, or he'll go back to a similar schedule that he went to when he was on Mixer. But his viewership compared to the percentage of viewers total on Mixer was still along the lines of what he had here on Twitch. So he didn't really lose viewership other than, again, the total amount is smaller, but in comparison to the audience that's on Mixer as a whole, he still did really well. And Shroud was very, very much the same way. And we're still waiting to see where Shroud's going to go. But that leads me into our next topic. And we've been talking about this for a couple weeks. Myself in particular, because I happen to be a fan of Dr. Disrespect, but he finally started streaming again. And of course, he went the other way. He's now on YouTube for obvious reasons. Just a quick recap. And one thing that he mentioned during the stream was that, first of all, he started a stream. It was 3 days ago now. I think it was on Thursday.
Yeah.
And it was Thursday noon. He started a stream, and it was literally just a picture of a gas station with the Lambo that he has, and some music that he's, I guess, been producing. So, and there was like some cut-ins and stuff of like an announcer and a lot of like, hyping basically.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. And that stream stayed live for 24 hours, or actually just a little bit longer before he actually went live on Friday. And he started with about 120,000 viewers. And during the stream, especially at the beginning when I was watching, he had about 350,000 viewers. And it was very consistent. It was actually a really good stream.
Yeah, because he had a countdown timer going, and I took was taking like snapshots on my phone, and like sending to my buddy, like, "Holy shit, dude, look at these numbers!" Because he still had the timer on the screen, like he ain't even gone live
Yeah.
yet. And the one I have is at like 22 seconds to launch. He had like 304,000 people watching, and then within the first like 5 minutes of him actually doing his whole pre-roll and intro and like welcome back ceremony, I guess you could call it, went like
Yeah.
up to like 510,000 for a little while there, and then kind of
Yeah,
evened
it went
back
up
out at like
quite a bit.
300K for a while.
What does he
Right.
usually have?
His viewership on Twitch was generally somewhere between 35,000 and I think about 50, topped out around 50 usually.
So you think all these people were there trying to figure out, like, hoping he would say why he got kicked?
Yeah.
Bingo.
I do
Absolutely.
believe that's so.
Do you think he'll retain all these people, or you think he'll probably go back to about his average?
I would imagine that he definitely added an audience that was present on YouTube that was basically consuming his content through his YouTube channel. And then now you have everyone from Twitch, and that includes everyone who's kind of in between, who was just there for the news of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that was very interesting. Also, he did make a statement for those of you who out there who are wondering, why did he get banned? He made a statement during the stream about why he got banned. And he said it like, I think, I don't have the exact quote, but basically what he said was, we still don't know. We literally have no idea. And if you think that I'm lying, what reason would I have to lie? He said, and then he said, I'm just going to end it with this. I'm letting the legal people, the attorneys, do their work, and it'll all be sorted out. But ultimately, he's back on YouTube where he originally started, and he seems to be really happy with it. And he's just really upset with what he called the cockroach tactics that Twitch took in banning him. So
I just don't
watched
know
it
how
the other day.
magically he's the only person on this planet that gets mystery banned and like this
Right.
big deal, and he has no idea. Like, some seems so off to me. Like,
It's
how do you
part
have
of the
no
production.
idea?
well, not only
The thing
that,
about
but
it is, we
ahead.
mentioned that before. The thing about it is that after he was banned, there have been several other streamers that were banned also, but there's been a reason behind it. They've made a reason known, even though the
Put that away.
oh, that looks delicious. Even though Twitch says they don't release the information of why streamers were banned, it's gotten out there of why some of these streamers after him were banned. But
Yeah.
there
Theirs
still
were a
has
little bit more
been
obvious, you know?
yeah, there still haven't been anything about why Dr. Disrespect was
Yeah. Which
and
to,
it's weird.
yeah, to me it almost makes like when he first was talking about it, like I don't know a ton, like I don't follow streamers a ton, but like I've seen him because he always just pops up in like mainstream news too.
Yeah.
But like when he was first talking about it and was like, oh, I don't know why I got banned, I was kind of like skeptical. I was like, you're just not wanting to it's almost like when
Yeah,
the
you
cop
don't wanna
pulls you
talk
over,
about it.
it's like, do you know why I pulled you over? And you're like,
I
Yeah.
have no idea. Why?
So
My speedometer's broken, I swear.
Right.
If you don't admit it, then you don't necessarily have
exactly.
to own up
No,
to it.
I clocked you. I'm just seeing if you're honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like now, like it's gone so long without any, like there's so many people at Twitch that work for Twitch. I'm like, somebody would have leaked it at this point if they
Right.
like. So,
And I think
Wow.
honestly, then this is coming from someone who, although again I like Dr. Disrespect, I'm not necessarily trying to say that really anything about him. I just think that it's all about the money. There's so much money right now that's wrapped up in
Always.
what happened and his contract and things like that. That's the reason why it's so hush hush. And I think that it's definitely on the side of Twitch. But even if he found out, even if they messaged him yesterday and said, "Hey, look, this is why we banned you," he would still leave it to the legal professionals to sort it out before he came out and said anything.
Right. Yeah.
And I also would think that Twitch would, in some way, shape, or form, would like to save face. I mean, he could come out and say, I mean, he said that there was no warning. There was no, no indication, and it's just all of a sudden, just bam, you're done.
Yeah.
And for him to come out and say all of that about Twitch, and them not to be like, whoa, 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 that's not true,
Right.
is another thing that kind of makes me think that he hasn't gotten a reason also,
And
because
I totally agree.
right, because they would need to save face, because he does pull in quite a lot of numbers.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Just earlier today, I thought to myself, because I was watching a little highlight video from that stream, I was thinking to myself, holy shit, they canceled their biggest streamer without any information. What's stopping them from just shutting me down anytime they want?
Nothing.
And it makes you really kind of reevaluate, like, I mean, everybody does like this podcast. You guys, you're with your podcast for different reasons. But for me personally, I find it's like an artistic outlet for myself. And if someone took that away from me, I would almost have the same reaction. I would go, okay, well, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. But in the meantime, I'm going to find another platform. And I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah. Right.
So
He wonders though too that, I mean, it's because it's not also just about money, because I think around that time was when a lot of the issues with the internal parts of Twitch about how the wrongdoings of people getting treated improperly based on their gender, sexual harassment, like part of me wonders that maybe they're trying to take a hush hush stance of maybe they don't care for certain aspects of him or certain things that he does, and maybe they don't want that type of personality as like a representation of Twitch. I don't know, but I know a lot of businesses do that. It doesn't matter how much someone's making, if they don't like how someone is representing their business, they'll ban them. It doesn't matter. You were making a lot of money for us, but we don't like how you're doing things, so maybe.
But you'd think they'd have a statement if that's why.
I know, that's what I'm
and
like.
that leaves the
maybe?
question. The same situation happened with, like we talked about last week, with Zero, and they came right out and said he had sexual relations with minors, and we ended him. Like, and he wanted to end it. So again, why aren't they saying anything? And honestly, if it does have to do with that, which again, it very may well, but if it does have to do with that, I think that maybe they went ahead and said, oh, someone said something about Dr. Disrespect, and then now they're just finding out that, or maybe they found out shortly afterwards that wasn't the case. So again, they're trying to save face before they open their mouth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're wanting to do all of their research before they say anything.
But yeah, but they haven't been doing that in the past at all.
Right.
We saw the same thing happen with Pay Money Wubby and a couple others who they heard a little whisper and they banned them. And then afterwards they said, "Oh, sorry," in a little email, which is basically, it adds up to a big fuck you to most of the Twitch streamers that got banned.
Yeah, because most people don't know who those people are you just mentioned, but not everybody, but most people in the like gaming community at least know of Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay Money Wubby sounds like a gangster rapper.
Honestly, he is like he looks kind of like me. He's like a big ginger.
Yeah, there is a similarity.
Hilarious.
This is a guy who basically just does whatever. He's beyond giving a fuck. His YouTube channel is definitely testament to that, as seen in videos where he just flat out bought a real doll and was just doing shit with it on his YouTube channel. Nothing sexual, but just crazy shit. Well, he is beyond giving a damn.
It's great content, by the way. Pay Money Wubby. Pay Money WBBY.
So
I absolutely
so top tier.
I
sounds right up
endorse
Dylan's alley.
Yeah, I'll give him credit. If he's got a following, hey, he found what he needs to do. It doesn't sound like my cup of tea, but hey,
but who's
it's for
following
someone.
that? Like, do you really want those people?
Probably the same.
I'm already
people
here,
that
guys. Yeah, I was about to say, like,
the same people that
huge
are buying
Wubby
Gamer
fan.
Girl bathwater. So
Hey now.
It kills me that was a thing. Like, I just don't understand.
What do you mean that was a thing? It still is a thing, and she's got more products that she's releasing.
I know
right now.
Yeah, it's just not in the limelight.
I
What is
don't
it?
understand.
Gamer
very
condoms
lucrative.
that's sold out now.
I swear,
Yep.
I just
Amazing.
I want to highlight the real, female streamers out there who are doing badass things, who are good at what they do, not selling
Speaking
boomer
of
bathwater.
real female streamers who are
Yes.
doing
Oh, that
badass
was
things,
beautiful. Fantastic
got-
transition.
we've got Pokimane, who just recently announced that she is doing. She's doing. I was gonna say she's doing herself. She's doing her own thing.
Oh, so
She's
close.
doing
We're
her
so
own
close.
thing, and she's taking a break from streaming and from social media with good reason. Because honestly, Pokimane is someone who I don't dislike. I don't really watch her content much outside of what I see in the news and like here and there. I do follow her, but very rarely do I click on her stream. Because to be honest, I find it to be kind of boring. Her gameplay is fun, and she's sometimes got some really good commentary. She's very like intelligent person who I kind of value that in a Twitch streamer. But she's been under a lot of fire recently, and I don't know. What do you guys think about the idea of taking that kind of those comments that everyone here gets on the internet and going ahead and saying, you know what, I'm going to take a step back and take a break.
I mean, I think it's good. I mean,
It's
everyone
good,
needs a mental break every now and
Yeah.
again. I mean,
I
we're
feel like my opinion might be a little different, only just
Uh-oh.
because. Well, no, I mean I'm the female voice of it, so it's
Yeah,
a
no,
little
I
different.
wanna
I feel
hear it.
like, I mean, of course, I'm gonna sound like the typical gamer feminist, but I mean, the feedback that women deal with on a daily basis, especially streamers like Pokimane, just it can be overwhelming, the good stuff and the bad stuff. And I feel
Yeah.
like it's good for her to take that break because she, I feel like she needs to, if she
Yeah,
feels like
if
she needs to step away, she's got to do it because I actually have had a lot of online debates this past week of completely different. It's not gaming related, but someone literally quoted that women are held to a higher standard, and that because it was basically relating how female rappers, how they talk in their raps, and how they're starting to sound more like men, and a lot of men don't like it. But they
Is it from
basically
the
said that
WAP
females are
video?
held to a higher standard.
Probably.
And yes, that's
Mhm.
actually what they were talking about. And that, when they act a certain way, that it's looked down upon because we're supposed to be better. So I kind of relate that to streaming in the sense of females, especially female streamers, are held to a high standard. Like, we're expected to be able to deal with all of the sexual advances, all the inappropriate opinions and statements, and awkward requests for nudes and lewds and this, that, and the other. And it can be overwhelming, especially with a very young, attractive looking female streamer. I just feel like a lot of pressure gets put on, especially someone like her. So regardless of whether you're for her or against her, if you watch her or not, I'm for her taking a break. If she's got to do it, she's got to do it. Whatever, screw it. Who cares what anybody else thinks? This is your
And
thing.
I completely agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
100%.
I mean, it's important, really, of course, like we like to say, I mean, really for any of us out here who are dealing with social media as a whole, like sometimes it can be very toxic. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be that toxic. Sometimes it's just the amount of content that you are kind of inundated with, even outside of streaming. I was just
Good to
having a
unplug
conversation.
sometimes.
Exactly. I was just having a conversation with Jack on our chat club stream about how recently, with the amount of information that's been coming forward every day about the virus, that it's almost to the point where participating in all of it is actually weakening your immune system, because every time you see it, you don't feel it, but it's stressing you out a little bit. And that
Yeah.
stress actually weakens your immune system. And it's been proven that when people take a break from social media and from the internet and from looking at their phone every day and checking Twitter and Instagram and all these things, especially right now, it actually improves how you feel physically
for
and how
sure.
your body reacts.
Social
So-
media is generally bad. Am I like just bad for you?
It is.
In my opinion, like, and
It's
especially
such a double-edged sword.
it becomes an
sucks.
addiction. It's like a very useful tool, but it can really, yeah, like you said, it can just stress you out, bring you down. But I think even outside of that, anything you put yourself into or anything you're doing, whether it's a job or it's your art or it's your whatever passion project, it's good to every once in a while just take a step back, take a deep breath, refocus, get your priorities straight. Why am I doing this? Am I still happy doing this? You know, just there's nothing that's bad for you, like your fans or whatever, like whatever that situation is, you know, they may not like it, but for you, the person putting all the effort into whatever it is, taking a step back and taking a break is always probably like is never a bad idea. You know, it might not be the most productive thing you could be doing.
Always good.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
There-
because I
there's-
mean,
there's a balance.
burnout is a very real thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
it's a very
Oh, yeah.
real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
And that's just a
from what I
universal
remember
statement.
looking up,
And-
it's like she's been doing this since she graduated from high school, like 6 years ago or
Yeah.
something,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
It's a
she
long
hasn't
time.
had any kind of a break.
Yeah.
So that's I stream, and I'm like every few days, the few days that I do stream, sometimes I get to a point where I'm like, dude, I just don't want to do it because you're just like you're putting so much of yourself out there, and you're putting it out there on display for people to come in and comment and judge and everything of that nature. So it's a very real and difficult thing to do, and to do that without any type of a break is almost maddening.
Yeah, it's
So,
unhealthy.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
look at
It
it.
is.
Look at it this way. I mean, in anything that you do, you know, for anyone, you know, rocking the 40-hour work week and things like
Yeah.
that, you start pulling OT and things like that, you know, for a couple of
Mhm.
weeks straight, it obliterates you. It's
Yeah.
absolutely, you know, and but these, you know, but streamers and internet personalities in general, generally speaking, work a bit more than that. And you know, try, you know, whatever the internet consensus is, oh, it's not real work, things like that. No, putting on a persona is draining, and even if it comes naturally to you, even if you're the most charismatic person with a million personalities that you can put on the spot and let them do the talking for you, it is still draining. It is. And
Absolutely.
and you got to be on point, or else you risk losing your brand. And especially for people who put all their eggs in the basket of streaming and their content, they have to perform, or that's their livelihood. You know,
Yeah.
so
On stream and off stream, you have to. You have basically only yourself to hold accountable if you fail. And again, a lot of these people out there are trying to support themselves, or their families by streaming, and it's you know that in itself is a stressor. So you add on top of that all the workload that you've put in front of yourself, as well as just the actual streaming itself, which again you may enjoy it, but it's time that you're spending that you could be doing something else,
sleeping.
and everybody needs that time to basically recenter yourself, regardless of how long that is. Whatever is good for you, there's got to be some sort of balance. There's got to be that yin and yang to the whole thing.
Everything in moderation.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I support her decision. You know,
Yeah,
it is
for
what
sure.
it is.
Yeah.
You know, she's got to take care of herself. She's her own boss, and she feels like she's got to do it. Do it, girl. You
Do it,
you.
yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
I need a
mean,
vacation
you
after
do,
like
boo.
3 months of work. I can't imagine 6 years.
I take one day. I'm like, you know what?
That's a
I'm
lot.
ready to take
That's
another
a lot.
vacation.
So speaking of some vacation relaxation techniques you could possibly use, one of the games that I found that was pretty interesting, at least to watch. I never got to play it myself, but I come from the idea that in my off time, generally, I pick up my little mobile device, my mobile console, DS, what have you, especially over the past couple of years, and I play Pokemon. So when Temtem came out, I was very hype about it. I know Lat and Jono, they were in the long haul in the Kickstarter, right?
We did the Kickstarter,
Oh
right?
wow.
Yeah.
And so you guys waited a long time for this game to come out.
Yeah,
And,
I didn't get to. Jono got to play it because he opted
He
for
was
the
streaming it.
PC version. Yeah,
Mhm.
he opted for the PC version on Steam. So he
Right.
was able to get into and try it out. I opted for the Nintendo Switch version.
Which
So
they've just
thankfully,
reconfirmed that it is being
yes,
released.
thankfully it is
Yeah.
still heading out to the Nintendo Switch. But they, I kind of understand what they're doing. They didn't just cancel it.
Mm.
Mhm.
Just moving it to the next
Cancel.
console.
It's going
You
to the
know?
next generation of consoles.
And it makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah,
Because they talked about it at the PlayStation State of Play. So, I mean,
right.
it's, it's happening. It's just, it makes more sense to hold off since the newest console is literally right around the corner. Just
Exactly.
hold
And that's
off.
why I said I understood what they were doing. So I wasn't
Mhm.
too disappointed about it, especially since it's still coming to the Switch. But
Yeah.
if Switch had a next gen console, I'm pretty sure they probably would have made the same decision to just port everything over and work
Yeah.
on that.
True.
Mhm.
Because I mean, in all, I think they are still a small indie company, and they may not just have the time and resources to do a PS4 and an
Mhm.
Xbox One version and
It
then
would just
work
take
on
them a lot
a
longer,
next
I
gen.
think,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if they
So
focused on doing it for current gen consoles, then they'd probably not be able to release it to the next console till maybe next year or the year,
Mhm.
just to kind of, because all of the new features on these new consoles are probably going to have to reformat things and whatever it is that they got to do. So
but all the
Yeah.
I
while
think they're
doing
doing a smart decision for themselves.
Mhm.
like Steam updates for the PC version and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a bad decision. I see it
Mhm.
as a business decision that they just had to make. So I
Yeah.
wasn't mad at them.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and
Yeah.
I've been following the game too because it looks interesting to me. And I don't think like the console stuff was probably coming out until like 2021 or something like
Right.
that.
That's what
So
they
at that
said. Yeah.
point, it wouldn't even make sense to try to put them on the old systems. Like
Right.
Yeah.
you're not going to get the sales you would need to justify it. I don't think. So
Yeah.
Was this a Kickstarter type thing?
It
Mhm.
started as a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
started as
Mhm.
a Kickstarter. What Temtem is a Pokemon like,
Yeah.
Pokemon
Adventure game.
inspired adventure
Yeah.
game that
I've
allows
It's
for
I've seen what Temtem is. I just wasn't sure. Like you're saying how they're moving it back. I wasn't sure if it was like Kickstarter or if it was like an actual develop. Like, well, obviously actual developer, but like a normal development cycle or
Mhm.
not.
oh
Mm.
no
But
no no
you guys backed it, so it's Kickstarter.
yeah
Because
Yeah.
I was trying to
Yes.
remember. I think was it Bloodstained or there was some
Mhm.
game like that was supposed to come out for the Wii U that then took so long it didn't come out until the Switch came out.
right.
And so this isn't the first time this has happened, but it's still
Mhm.
it is kind of like, I mean, it makes sense, but then it's also like, when did you first back this game? Like, when did you first? How long
oh,
ago was it?
holy Hannah
Yeah, exactly.
It was
So
a while ago.
you're
I
probably
think
hoping that it would
I
come out
got
sooner than it did.
Oh
yeah
yeah.
Yeah.
well usually they did put a date on there of when it was going to be out, and I was kind of like, oh, I could do with that because again I backed Shenmue 3 and
Yeah.
I was getting
Oh,
a good
I'm
deal for that
sorry.
one too.
Yep.
I'm okay with the wait,
Mhm.
but
Uh, one of the more famous
Yeah, I was on that
cases
train
right there.
too.
Oh
yeah
my god! And then
Yeah.
how did you feel about that game when it came out? Just to go on a little tangent here.
To be
um
honest, I loved it.
Did you?
I
Oh yeah.
enjoyed it. I didn't think that it needed a Kickstarter. I mean,
I
I
heard there
don't.
were like two camps. There was like the one camp that like loved it because it was the same as all the old ones. Like,
It
this is what
was.
we want.
Right,
And then there were the
Yeah.
people that were like, what were we waiting for?
right.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Exactly.
felt that a little bit, but I also enjoyed the nostalgia of it because that was one
Right.
of the games that on the Dreamcast when I played it, it was like, this is amazing. I
Yeah.
just remember sitting there in awe in front of my mattress on the floor, playing on my little TV Shenmue 1 and then 2, which I've still got the original disc, the 2 disc, 3 disc set of Shenmue 2, like the Japanese version that I played on my
That's pretty cool.
You still
yeah.
have your Dreamcast? Oh,
Not the Dreamcast itself,
oh,
no.
Just
okay.
Oh,
just the
okay.
I
game.
still have the
Okay.
game,
Oh,
yeah.
it's the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually I just cleaned my Dreamcast not too long ago. I still have that, and
I'm pretty positive I still have mine. I think it's boxed somewhere. I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, I
But
definitely
yeah, I
still
think
have
the main
mine.
reason I did get Shenmue 3 was for the nostalgia of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think regardless of even if PlayStation didn't back it, I would have, and they didn't go through this whole Kickstarter deal and they put it out, and I'm like, oh, Shenmue 3. I've been wanting to finish that, and I would have grabbed it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, pretty solid. Speaking of a game that was mentioned at the State of Play, the State of Play that just came out this month for PlayStation. One of those games that was mentioned, of course, for the PS5 was Temtem, and there was about, I think I said 15 other games that were listed. Did
pretty cool.
did we want to go through? Let's start with Dylan. Did you see any games there that were particularly stood out for you?
I
Are you a
don't.
PlayStation player?
I'm mostly Xbox. I don't have a PlayStation.
That's fair. That's fair.
He's our
the
resident
one that-
Xbox fanboy.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
So, the one that I'm
Any of them
very
that would make you
interested
maybe
in,
buy a PlayStation?
that would make
this State
none
of
of the
Play?
ones that they showed at this State of Play would make me
Okay.
jump ship from Xbox.
All right,
But
sorry, you were going to say something.
not even Genshin Impact. Not even Genshin Impact.
no,
I'm so
no.
excited for Genshin Impact. Like, you have no idea, but you know that I'm a
yeah.
weeb, so I'm all for it anyway.
Yeah, the one I was most interested in was Godfall, just because I like Gearbox Studios. I like the things that
Oh,
they've
yeah.
done. And now that it's official that it's coming to like Xbox Series X and PC and everything as well, it's one that I'm interested to see how it continues to shape up, because it looks like, from the trailers and everything I've seen, it looks like a game right up my alley of just like running in looter slasher. I don't know. But
They
it
were
seems like
saying
it'll
it's
be
like
fun.
their version of a looter slasher, which
Yeah.
looked pretty cool.
Yeah, because like it almost reminded me of like a not God of War. What's the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse game series?
Dark
What's that?
Darksiders.
Darksiders.
It almost reminded me of like a Darksiders-esque looking thing,
I can do that.
art wise, and I don't know. It checks a lot of the right boxes for me. So that was that one, and Bug Snacks. Like, I think I'm not. I'll play that one for the meme, like if it comes to something that I own. So
Yeah.
Talking
about
about
you,
Bug
Andrew?
Snacks.
talking about Bug Snacks.
For me, yeah, this State of Play, I didn't watch I didn't watch it. I've seen like announcements and stuff from it,
Mhm.
and so because I remember when they first said that they announced the State of Play, they were like setting the expectations, like, hey guys, no PS5 stuff. It's gonna be like VR, smaller stuff, indies, and so, not to sound unoriginal, but I am definitely excited for Godfall as well. That's
Yeah.
one that I think is gonna be really fun. Outside of that, I haven't really seen anything from this that got me super excited. What exactly was it that they said about Control? Wasn't there
Control is
something-
having another expansion added.
Yeah, and with
I loved about it is that it's with Alan Wake.
I was gonna say, doesn't it
Right.
tie it
Right.
into Alan Wake?
Yes, I was.
Yes,
that was
which, by the
really
way, is
cool.
available on
choice.
Game Pass in case you haven't played it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they've like officially now come out and said that like these games are linked now, right? Like
Yeah.
there's so that's cool. I think that's
Mhm.
exciting. That was probably one of the bigger things that I saw come out of this State of Play. But overall, nothing like super crazy or major that like really made me go like, oh my god,
Get giddy about.
Yeah, no,
I think I'm overly excited. I'm one of those people that just I get easily excited by games. Like I'm not.
So what
I
was
don't
the
know.
top one for you then?
I
out of this
liked a
list?
lot of them, honestly. The only two that really I didn't. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Just because I'd never really played it was Spelunky and that Aeon. Aeon had like the crazy freaking like graphics, but
Yes,
I was just
yeah.
like, I don't know what the
Yeah.
hell this is about. I don't even know. And the Pedestrian and Bugsnax gives me a weird. I don't know. Something just sits so weird with me with that game.
Aeon actually
Talking
kind of
about
caught
Bugs
my eye
next.
because
It's
they've
got a lot of.
they've titled it
stuff
as
going
a
on.
tactical beat 'em up RPG. So
that's a lot of
I-
buzzwords.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And so
Well,
I'm
there's
There's
interested
a lot
to
of
see
like legal
how
stuff
they
going on
do
with that game too.
But
Yeah.
the look of it is,
Well, Servo,
I'm pretty
have you ever played Terra?
yeah.
It's
But that's
it's
more like
basically
an MMO.
Yeah. So if it's the same Aeon, I don't know, but from everything I saw, I saw the correlation. Aeon's been out for quite a while, and it's a lot like Terra, combat style and all, and graphical style, and
I might try it.
I played it forever ago, and it was all right. I went back to Terra though. I was like, okay, it's same but different. I'm gonna go back to Terra.
But I think my top games were definitely Genshin Impact for sure, just because anything with like a JRPG element, I will fucking play it.
Yeah, you and Lat are like definitely on that level.
And Hood looked really cool. I love PvP stuff, so I was super excited about that. That looked really dope. And just for simple mindset, I liked the idea of Vader Immortal because, I mean, Sith life. So I was excited about a lot of things, to be honest. But you know,
Vader Immortal is that all 3 episodes are already on VR for the Quest. They just now being released to
for the PSVR.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then,
I was about
Blade
to ask
was,
you
yeah.
what's coming to PSVR.
Right.
Mhm.
And
And Blade like almost cried for Hitman 3 all in VR.
I was just
Or,
about to say,
Hitman's all 3
now
of them
that
in
I'm
VR.
having this like thing where I'm like, okay, I gotta get a VR headset, and then I saw that and realized that that's gonna be VR. I was like, man, I really hope that they release Hitman 3 on for PC so that I can play it on because I'm planning on getting a Rift S probably. We'll see. I might just spring for an Index. It's possible, but
Nice.
Decisions.
if they have that ability, my problem is that I don't want to wait, and I know the Rift S I can like get it like probably on Wednesday. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But Hitman 3 would
I
be
enjoyed
great.
a lot.
But the one that was really the top of my list is the new Crash Bandicoot.
That looked really cool. I haven't played Crash in a long time, but I'm actually, it looks cool. I'm not like over the moon, but it looks cool. Like I'll play it.
It's gonna be fun. I mean, I've always liked Crash Bandicoot. Again, like I played it on PlayStation 1, and when they did the remake just recently, and I say recently, that was a couple of years.
Years ago,
When they did that remake, I was like, ugh, and I had to play it, and I beat it again, and so now that they're coming out with this one, I'm really excited. And of course,
And I
I've
get to
always
play
been a fan of the
Coco.
Hitman series. So
No,
even if that was just a non VR, I would totally play that anyway. But VR version of Hitman.
Crash Bandicoot, period. Like, no.
Yeah.
I wasn't even excited about that. Everything that I've seen for the state of play, it was like stuff that I already knew that was coming out. So it wasn't-
Yeah. I was about to say, like, the state of play, like, I'm already sold because ever since like Guilty Gear Strive was announced, I'm like, okay, Daisuke's coming back with the soundtrack, and Leo Whitefang is coming back as a character. I'm like, cool, already got my order in. Let's fucking go. And Ghostwire Tokyo, as soon as that was announced, I was like, all right, yeah, that's all I'm just gonna get Guilty Gear and Ghostwire. Like I'm already sold on the PS5.
Yeah, that one wasn't listed here, but
Yeah.
No,
definitely
it
get
wasn't.
because that was the thing about this state of play where they're like, it's not PS5 stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's VR and PS4 and
Yeah.
And they've had a couple PS5 things. But
yeah, a
not
few little
huge.
things, but stuff like no big announcements. They were trying to make sure that
Not
people
huge.
didn't watch it and then just get super pissed off when they got new. Like, let me ask you
No
guys
Resident
this:
Evil 8.
do you guys? Because part of the reason why I didn't watch this state of play is because since we had no E3 this year, and we've had this like IGN Summer of Gaming and Jeff Keighley stuff and the state of plays and the Xbox events and all this stuff to like and Ubisoft's events and EA's events, and it's all just been kind of drawn out over the whole summer. I was like, another state of play, really? Like, do I need to watch it? And they're like, no, you don't need to watch it. And I was like, okay, I don't need to watch it. You're like, do you guys feel the same way? Where it's like at this point, I'm kind of like, it's been drawn out so long that's like kind of burnout, or are you guys still like excited for these events and like getting hyped for announcements and stuff?
For me personally, it's kind of along the same lines as like, for example, I like cheesecake. So anytime my wife buys cheesecake, I have a little piece of cheesecake. And every time I go to the fridge after dinner, I have some cheesecake. And it's always just as good. So no, I don't find myself having that problem. I love a little bit at a time, almost all the time. And I enjoy seeing like again, I already knew Crash Bandicoot was coming out, but seeing it again is kind of like, oh yeah, Crash Bandicoot. Yeah.
So even if it's like great value cheesecake versus like, the most amazing cheesecake, you're still like, this is good. I'm enjoying this. I'm not burnt out on it. It's still cheesecake.
I mean, the quality's
That's
there
how I
every
feel,
time. Yeah, the quality's there every time. But to me, it's like having that cheesecake, and then it's like, oh yeah, and then you just keep going back, keep going back, and it is awesome every single time. But then I get like a rampant case of the Hershey Squirts afterwards, and I regret my decision for spending all my time eating all that cheesecake.
Yeah.
That's
The
my
only time
equivocation.
I will ever get burned out is if it's like something that's obnoxiously overdone. Like the way they've been doing stuff is fine. Like I'm still enjoying it. I'm still hyped. Just because it's it's new stuff. It doesn't I'm still hyped about it. Now, if it was hyping me up over like the same IP or there wasn't anything different, then I'd be like, okay, I waited for what? What was this about? Like, I don't care.
Yeah, like
But-
Bethesda conferences and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm gonna leave my comment of what I technically mean by that because some people get so salty when I talk about it. So, but most people know my aggression and what I meant about that. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But there are certain games I get tired of hearing about. So the fact that it's not like the same game, I don't care. That's fine.
Yeah.
If there's no E3, that sucks. But I'm still
Yeah.
getting news.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Hey, I haven't been. I mean, like Chibi said, it's not the same game repeatedly. If they've been like Nintendo Direct after Nintendo Direct, and the only thing they keep going over is Mario Party, I'd be like, okay, enough already. We know,
Yeah.
but it's different information and it's different
Mhm.
game, different job,
Yeah.
different companies, and along those lines. So I've been.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like it's kind of the way that it's all kind of trickled out. It's gotten to the point where it's so much to keep up with. Like if you stick with the big developers and like Sony and stuff, but like if you watch all 5 or 6 or how many days IGN did with their state of plays, and each stream is like 3 hours, and they have like deep dives with the developers on like this game and that game, it's like by the end of that week, I was just like, oh my God, I don't even remember what I watched on day
Right.
one because I've seen so much stuff over the
Yeah.
last few days. It's just, and having E3 that being that like nice, concise week where like everything came out, here it is, and now here's all the like IGN and GameSpot and all them. Here's the like big stuff that you need to know about. And then if you want to go, look deeper, here's some other stuff that happened. So I was just curious where you guys stood on like next year, say, the virus is gone, everything's normal. Would you prefer a traditional E3 week, or do you like this kind of summer of gaming where we get little bits over the course of the summer?
I say traditional E3. I've had this discussion with another
It's
friend.
fine either way.
I
mean,
think that a lot of people,
yeah. I mean, of course, I'd prefer original.
and like E3 and Comic Cons and all of that, I think people love the experience. They love the experience.
That's true
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the gaming because, of course, we can get our news digitally anytime at the drop of a hat. But for those to go away, a lot of people lost that experience of going to that and seeing that in person and being up front.
That
So-
sense of community too.
Yeah. And myself
So if all I
included,
can
like
get is the news, then that's
I
fine.
was mentioning earlier, I really actually enjoyed this kind of summer gaming, as you call it, because for me personally, I'm always like in it. I'm always interested in looking for something new that's coming out to get interested in, and on a daily basis, I kind of like pour through some of this information that's coming in and finding little gems here and there, even if it is a big game or an indie game or somewhere in between. And it helps me to like remind myself, like for example, a Nintendo Direct recently, someone said, "Oh yeah, that game is already coming out." It was in the Nintendo Direct, and I was like, "Well, I don't remember that because in the Directs they often go, here's a big game, here's a big game, also." And
Right?
I don't have a chance when they fucking Honda me with games to like absorb what's going on. So I like to, be able to kind of like have it steadily fed to me. But at the same time, I also have to agree with Lat because myself, out of this group, I was one of the people who, like, for example, has never been to TwitchCon.
Oh yeah, I was
Me
gonna say that.
neither. Me
I had-
neither.
I was
Same.
I had planned well in advance to be able to have that experience this year.
This was gonna be our
And
year.
because of current events, it just never happened. So
Mm.
now I'm gonna buy a VR headset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Now's
I can
the
have
time.
that. Maybe I can have a little bit of that experience, digitally.
Yeah, TwitchCon is a different. Well, not really different. I mean, it's still like a a gaming convention,
It's
but
Yeah.
definitely a conference,
there's
but it's just
Yeah.
it's a different
there's
feel,
also
you know.
like people you've met online that you've never like in real life engaged with, and TwitchCon seemed to be a place for that to actually happen, and that was an amazing ordeal in and of itself. So
I just want to meet people in person and see how tall they are. That's all. I just want to see how tall they are. Like, you looked a lot taller online. I don't
They're all
know.
shorter. Yeah, they're all shorter than you thought.
Well, I'm
There you
super
go.
short, so I want them to be all my height. I would be so
Oh.
excited to meet more people my height. But I
I'm
mean,
gonna
if they
fashion
had to
cardboard
go,
cutouts of everybody you want
right?
to meet and send them to you.
If they go back to normal, like, if we're able to get back to that at some point, I mean, I'm definitely welcoming to it. If we can't get to that, I'm not butthurt either.
Mhm.
But, obviously I would like to go back to that just because, like Lat said, it's just the experience, really getting to go and being a part of it. It was a conference, you just felt like you were involved in the process, I guess, in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for sure.
I'm not upset either way, but ultimately the goal would be to go back. But we'll see.
See. Well, I don't have a nice transition for this one, but it was
I got
announced.
one. Speaking
Go
of
for
things
it.
that
Please
people
do.
are upset about,
Yeah.
Please divulge your
Yeah, let's do
the
it.
details. Go for it, lad.
it was. I mentioned that I jumped into the Marvel's Avengers beta this weekend. Well, there was
Mhm.
also a mention that came across that not a lot of people were happy with, and that is that Spider-Man will be an exclusive to the PlayStation for Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, that
Thanks,
has
Tony.
been blowing up my social
Yeah.
media on that debate back and forth, honestly.
It sucks, honestly. I mean,
Why?
it's
I mean, I
Why couldn't we have
ultimately
left
I've
this?
yeah,
We
like
had to talk
my
about it.
my statement that I made on the Apple thing, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, ultimately the consumer is the one that really suffers about it, but I mean,
Mhm.
at the same time, I'm not shocked
all
by
about
it
money.
because Sony owes a lot of the rights to Spider-Man, so I mean, I'm kind of like, well, okay, yeah, I could see that, but at the same time, I'm not like butthurt either because
It's just
they
another
can do
case
that.
where Sony is showing their
I mean,
kind of
it is what it is.
anti-consumer side,
Yeah.
and just like crossplay, they were the last ones to get
Well,
on
I mean,
board
they're
with
not the only
Fortnite.
one that's done that.
No, but
I
recently.
mean, a lot of people are showing a lot of frustration about it, but at the same time, I'm like, Sony's not the only one that's done exclusivity on things, so
No.
I don't lean either way. So I wasn't upset about it because I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
oh
Well,
well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Like to me though, like this one seems very weird because like it's an entire like character that's and it's not like it's some
Yeah.
random like no name
Matt
character that
yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna like hate on Moon Knight fans or anything, but it's like if Moon Knight was the PS4 exclusive, I'd be like, I don't
How
care.
dare you talk about
Like-
Moon
Yeah, I was
Knight?
about to say the Moon Knight fan base is numerous. We
Yeah.
have
Dozens
fives
of
of people that love Moon Knight. Damn it!
Yeah.
All of
But,
us
like,
are here.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like, Spider-Man is arguably one of like Marvel's biggest characters.
yeah.
Oh,
And,
I
yeah.
like,
definitely agree. It's weird.
Xbox is getting Squirrel Girl though, so
Yeah.
pretty excited
I'm
about
upset
that.
about
that.
as a
Stop
PlayStation
that.
guy. I'm upset about that.
I hope they get Wolverine, but we'll see what actually. The thing is that like Xbox,
Yeah, good luck with that.
yeah, Xbox out of like the last few years, and it's mostly because they're behind in they're losing this console. They lost this console generation. Their whole
Really did.
stance now is let's be for the gamer. So like all the Call of Duty deals, all these things that were very prevalent in the 360 PS3 days have kind of been a lot less, and Xbox especially has done a lot less of these like exclusivity deals where like the first Tomb Raider was flat out on Xbox for a year before it came to PlayStation,
Yep.
Yeah, they like held on to that bitch for a year.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And it was good. And it was good.
but PlayStation's
loved
doing
it.
that with Final Fantasy VII Remake now. It's like PlayStation's doing all these exclusivity deals by themselves now. And
Yeah.
Xbox
I mean,
is
hasn't
kind of
Final Fantasy always been on PlayStation? Like always?
15 was on both. I think
Yes.
that was the
Yeah, that was
first
the
like
one.
big deal. But the weird thing about Final Fantasy, just as a random tangent, was they didn't market that very strong. Like it was, people thought it was coming to both day and date up until, a few, I don't know how long before release, maybe 6 months, 3 months before release. And then all of a sudden there was like some little print on the, some fine print that was like PlayStation exclusive for a year, kind of like it was it wasn't out in the open, just like they weren't out in the open about this is part 1 of however many games. You're not buying the full
Right.
game.
But it was
you
even
know,
listed for Steam for a while.
yeah, and it was listed for Xbox too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
but
Square
then they kind of
and
pulled
Sony
it.
have always been kind of,
Yeah.
But like
at
this,
each other's hip.
this kind of just it's not bad business wise, like you say. Like obviously, if they have Spider-Man, and why wouldn't they do this to get you to buy this game on PlayStation?
Absolutely.
But it's from a consumer standpoint and a mindshare thing where people are like, Xbox is playing the good guy here, and they're like, here's Game Pass for super cheap with all these games, and we want you to be able to play your games anywhere. And like they're doing all this stuff to make themselves look like the good guy.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
Sony keeps doing stuff
trying.
like this
They're
that's
trying.
like, why the hell would you do this, Sony? Like,
Yeah. This is
I'm not
Like,
buying
literally-
Avengers now.
Literally playing the role of the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
like
think Sony just doesn't care. They're like, you know
Yeah.
what? If you want to buy it, cool. We're gonna have this stuff. If you don't want it, then you're not gonna have it. So, it's,
yeah.
I mean, they've gone back and forth with it on depending on what the game is, and neither one of them are innocent on it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm down the middle. I had the 360, and I love my 360 like nobody's business. I didn't play my PS3 like jack squat, but the PS4 came out, and I got that. But, so I'm not on either side, but I've definitely seen both of them do exclusivity things. Like with, I kept going back to Cuphead. They were like so hard ass that Cuphead was not going nowhere but Microsoft, and it did. So
Yeah, but how many years
know.
later? I mean,
Yeah.
Cuphead, that's
Actually,
like
not that
5
long.
years later.
Yeah.
It wasn't that
been-
long, actually.
It's been a long. It went to Switch like a year or two ago, and it was old then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
isn't MDHR? Aren't they a Microsoft studio, or are they just contracted out with them?
I think at
That
the
I don't-
time that they were definitely contracted. I'm not sure what their status is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
But it's just, my whole thing is that, I'm not pro either one or the other, but I'm just tired of people talking shit like, that Sony's the only one does exclusivities. They're the ones that do all the exclusivity on big things. Like
Well,
really
just
big things
recently.
that clearly everyone wants.
Yeah. Well, and it's-
Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
To me,
I'm
it's-
like, it's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, to me it's weird that
Yeah.
it's like a third party stuff. Like I thought we were kind of past the like third party exclusivity weirdness, because
Yeah.
like recently that has not worked out super well. Like they did that with Destiny 2, I think it was. And like I think PlayStation had like an exclusive gun and an exclusive mission or something like that, but like if you had it on PlayStation, you never got to do that mission because it was never in like the standard rotation, because the standard rotation was synced across consoles, and like you never, like the gun was never good enough to make it game breaking because like the Xbox and PC didn't have it. And so like I look at this and I'm like, is that what is going to happen with Spider-Man? Is he not going to impact the story? Is he not going to impact, like, is his character just going to be a meh kind of character in the live service game because like 2/3 of the player base can't have it, like to me it's different than like, yeah, to me it's different than like the like a game exclusive, like, or a timed exclusive. It's weird that it's like this is only ours forever exclusive.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not forever, though.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think I've
either.
said that from the beginning, like with arguments I've had online about it. Like it doesn't really say it's forever. It
Yeah.
could be like Cuphead, where they said it was only going to be this, but maybe down
Yeah.
the road they won't. You know,
True.
I mean,
Once
think it's
nobody
gonna
cares about
be-
this game anymore, here you guys go. You
There
can
you
have
go.
it.
You can
there
have
you
it.
go.
And I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be just like they're introducing Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is supposed to have his own particular story within the game.
Mhm.
I think Spider-Man is
Yeah.
gonna be the same way. It's gonna
Yeah.
be pretty much like I would say almost like a DLC that you
Mhm.
can get for the Avengers game. You hear Spider-Man, you can play his story. The Avengers come in, help out, and then well, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you're done. And as
Yeah.
they introduce other characters, they also have their own stories. The Avengers come in the same way along those lines. But
Mhm.
like Andrew was, we're saying, as soon as everyone's like, we all got it, we
Yeah.
played it, we're done. And we're like, okay, how can we get more money from this? Let's throw it over to Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was kind of like,
Yeah.
it took it from a maybe I'll buy this on sale game to like I don't really care. I'm not gonna buy this game. So like I'm not buying a PS4 to play as Spider-Man, sorry, or a PS5
Right.
to play as Spider-Man, sorry. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And I don't blame you.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a weird thing they're doing, but I mean,
If you do
Yeah.
buy
I
a
wasn't
PS4 to play Spider-Man, it shouldn't be this Spider-Man.
no,
I'll just
it
say
would
that.
definitely be
Mhm.
the other Spider-Man.
Yeah.
yeah,
no.
the actual
Insomniac
yeah, the
Spider-Man
Miles
is so
Morales.
much better. That one too, yeah.
Oh yeah,
No.
for
Super
sure.
excited.
But yeah,
Super
Nobu
excited.
brings up exactly what I was thinking this whole time in chat. Friggin' back in Soul Calibur days when there was
I
the
was also thinking
exclusives.
about this.
Yeah, you had like Vader on what was it? Vader on PlayStation,
Mhm.
Yoda on
Yoda
Xbox,
on
and
Xbox, yeah.
someone on GameCube.
Link, I
Link
think?
on
No?
GameCube.
Well,
no,
Yes,
Link-
shoot, it
yes.
was like going all the way back to Pokemon Red and Blue. Some Pokemon were on blue, some were on red. Like
Yeah.
you had to buy both to get both. Like this is not a new thing. Like
See,
it is
everybody
what
got
it is.
something. Everybody got something in those. So what is Xbox and PC? What exclusive characters are they going to get?
Now
that's why I'm
Didn't they
saying.
get
what I was
Squirrel Girl or
hoping, yeah.
whatever?
Who?
Yeah.
No, that's a meme. That's not.
Yeah.
I
The P-
know.
The
The
PC.
Xbox
Nobody
is
gives a
gonna
shit
get-
about Squirrel Girl. What are you talking?
Shut your mouth! I will fight you in the street. I will
He's the
fight
most
you.
powerful superhero in the
I
whole
fucking
universe.
love Squirrel Girl. Damn it!
All right, I
fucking love
forgot. There's
Squirrel Girl.
dozens of us. My bad.
No,
No,
I absolutely love
dozens of
Squirrel
us
Girl.
now.
Yes.
But I mean, on the level of Spider-Man, like who are they going to get that can like? What is there?
Wolverine.
Is there gonna? Are they gonna have an exclusive character? Like,
Yeah.
is that the
Well,
Xbox
wait,
and
isn't
PC
this
version?
Yeah, the
Hopefully.
who's
Xbox
the,
is
I
gonna
can't
get
remember
the
the
X-Men.
developer of this.
I mean, hell
And
yeah,
then-
that'd
and
be
then the
awesome.
PC
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
PC version
Even
gets
if they
Gordon
just-
Freeman.
Wait, lad, are you
Well-
serious? You're not serious.
No, it
I'm
hasn't been
not-
confirmed.
It
but
hasn't been confirmed. That was a rumor. They
It
did
would
say
be
that
awesome
they
if
would
they
leave it
got
open.
an
Yeah.
X-Men.
That would be.
But I mean,
It said
honestly,
if it
like,
improves the story, they wouldn't oppose to putting the X-Men in the Marvel Avengers game.
That would
I
be
mean,
so
I just
good.
don't see it. I mean, not that I don't see it happening, but I mean, it's by Crystal Dynamics, and published by Square Enix. It's Square Enix. I mean, Square
Yep.
Enix and like I said, Square Enix and Sony are just buddy.
Yeah.
So I mean, not that I'm saying that Xbox won't get one, but I mean,
I
you
think
know
it
how
was.
this goes.
Was it on their
It's Square
Twitter?
Enix and Sony.
Was it on
Yeah.
their Twitter or was it somewhere else? And I don't remember if it was Crystal or Square or the Avengers like page itself, but they basically said something along the lines of like, if you want it, buy the PlayStation version. Come on, like they're not being very.
Yeah.
They're kind of taking that stance of like, quit crying and buy this version and buy this console if this is what you want. Like what do you want from us?
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
Crystal because Crystal, when the news broke, Crystal Dynamics flat out came out and said, "Look, it wasn't our decision.
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
were
they're just a co-developer.
we were just happy to have Spider-Man
they're
in our
developing-
version, our universe, in this universe,
Yeah.
our version of this
Yeah.
the Marvel universe."
It must have
And
been either the Avengers
I think it was Sony that came
or
out. and
Sony.
was
Yeah,
like,
that would
yeah,
make sense.
Boy.
I mean, you got to keep your overlords happy, so it's like, hey,
Yeah.
just buy a PlayStation, give
Do
us
it.
more money.
Sony needs
Well-
it, guys.
You know?
They need the money. Go
Oh yeah, yeah. They
Go
need our
support-
help right now.
go support Sony. They're really struggling. That's why they
Small
got
little-
Spider-Man.
Apparently,
Exactly.
I
Small
guess.
little indie studio Sony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that just about wraps it up for this week, guys. Real quick, I wanted to thank you guys for joining us. Level Playing Field Gaming. I'm going to
Thank
post
you.
the link to their Apple podcast page right there in the chat for everybody to
Yeah, go
follow.
check it out.
If you guys want to throw any other little plugs out there or anything that's coming up, now would be the time.
Yeah. So check us out. Subscribe to the podcast. We kind of generally pick like a more broad topic, like just more general things that we dive into. We have a few little segments on the beginning and end of the episode, and like end with a silly game kind of thing. But we've been doing more like spoiler casts and deep dive kind of episodes. And like I said earlier when we were talking about what we've been playing, I wrapped up Final Fantasy VII Remake. The reason it took me so long is I was doing like a playthrough that I'm uploading to YouTube. So our YouTube channel will have my playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake on it. And our spoiler cast for that game will go live tomorrow, Monday. So that episode will be out, and then a video version of it will be out later this week on our YouTube. So we started as a podcast, have a lot of fun with that, but we're branching out into like YouTube and video content and looking at what we can do with Twitch and stuff as well. So just, follow us on our social medias. You can just look up Level Playing Field Gaming to find us and kind of stay up to date with what we're doing, what we're playing around with. And and you can always reach out and shoot us a message and tell us what kind of things you think would be interesting for us to do. So if you think it'd be fun for us to do a deep dive on this game, let us know, and we'll we can make it happen. So yeah, we really appreciate you guys having us on. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And y'all had my interest definitely with the best music. The best music on your, I think it was like mid-July cast. I was like, ooh.
One of our episodes we had a few weeks back was best music in gaming, where we all brought 3 of our favorite tracks from video games, and we listened to about a minute of them or so and talked about it and why we liked it and that kind of thing. So that one's live now. We have a Last of Us Part 2 spoiler cast up there. We've got we have an episode where we kind of brought like our hot takes in gaming, like things that are maybe controversial, and so that's a good one to kind of get to know us, to kind of see the drama, maybe some inside jokes that carried forward from that episode because some things were said.
Hey, so you guys actually, since you have access to our Discord now, if you wouldn't mind, I'm kind of asking you on the fly, but if you wouldn't mind throwing any social media links that you could in our promotions channel, so that anyone who's listening or listens in the future can go there on our Discord, which you can find the link on our Twitch page at the bottom, and find those links to Level Playing Field Gaming podcast and the YouTube channel.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do that.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that just about does it. Moose, would you like to take us out, sir? I will initiate the raid.
Excellent. Taking us out. We overtly and objectively opened the outlet for occupation outright, observed the offerings on the ordinary and outrageous alike. Our occupants on stage obliterated the outline and orated the oomph outstandingly. Y'all too are totally awesome, for reals. On the outskirts as well, October's around the corner. Order your hopefully odorless orangutan outfits and organize your oranga parties today. Obtain an ottoman too, for the off chance that you overdose on oolong tea. Over and out. Peace out, Cub Scouts.
Thanks, guys.
Nico.
Oolong tea.
Delicious.
I don't know what that was, but it was fantastic.
That is Moose being Moose.
We have an alphabetical outro for each that Moose puts together of his own volition.
And you're at O now?
Yes. You did, yeah. You like freestyled one, and then Donna was like, "You got to do that all the time now." You know that, right?
Set the bar.
I mean, you have to loop back around at some point, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start doing like
or numbers,
like alliteration, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like all the letters have to go in order or something.
Oh man.
And then take them at the end of the year and stream them all together in one long video.
Oh, now that's an idea.
That would just break your brain if you sat there and watched that whole thing.